Khosla, Chief Marketing Officer, Vodafone Idea Limited. I'm also happy to introduce Nitin Mitrasain, Founder and Joint MD, Nazara Technologies Limited, who is here with us at this event. And now I hand it over to Avnish to share the exciting news and take you all through the proposition. Avnish, over to you.
Thank you, Shivanjali. A very warm welcome and good afternoon to all of you. Thank you so much for taking out time and being with us this afternoon. When we met last in December, when we announced the launch of our music services, we'd also given you a sneak preview of what was to follow. This is really in terms of how we are starting to transition and transform in terms of shaping a larger digital agenda, creating a larger digital ecosystem for our consumers. And while I'm here not to necessarily talk about music, what I wanted to share with you was that we've had an overwhelming response to our music services that we launched in the month of December. And obviously, we are seeing a huge amount of adoption of music. Our next phase, or a very exciting phase of our digital evolution, of what we want to talk you through today in terms of fundamentally where we want to transition and create a larger digital ecosystem is what I want to talk to you about today. This is really going to be, in my mind, extremely large, probably larger than music, when I look at fundamentally what's happening in the context of the Indian consumer. And Nitish will bear me out when he talks you through what's really happening in the industry. But really, this has been phenomenal in terms of what we are seeing over the last 2 to 3 years. And by all means, this is becoming a very, very large agenda as far as telcos are concerned, as far as other entities are concerned in terms of giving the shape. It's also becoming a very large monetizable agenda. And therefore, without speaking too much, I'd probably deep dive into the presentation. So can I have the PPT, please? Yeah, can I have the next slide, please? Okay, I think we're all aware that the last 2 years has been completely transformational as more and more consumers are starting to adopt digital. We now have close to about 650 million consumers that are experiencing internet, thanks to the telco industry that has obviously made 4G a ubiquitous service and created enough capacity in the ecosystem for consumers to enjoy a variety of experiences. We are seeing explosion of commerce, we're seeing explosion of entertainment adoption. And therefore, fundamentally, when you look at what's really happening on consumption, the Indian consumer today is consuming almost close to about 15 GB a month. This is almost about 60% higher than the industry average. So the industry average, as per Ericsson reports, is about 9 gigs. The Indian consumer is today adopting about or using about 15 gigs on his smartphone. And this is looking to move to about 40 gigs in the next 5 years. So clearly there is huge amount of appetite for digital products and services. And obviously we're seeing a manifold increase in terms of transaction volumes and gross merchandise value, as the case may be. And therefore we are very, very excited with what the future holds. Yeah. So if we were to move forward, can I have the next slide, please? So it's not only about data consumption, right? It's also about the time that Indian consumers are spending on their phones. Indian smartphone users today are spending almost 1/3 of the day, or let's call it waking hours, on the mobile device. Yeah. As per the App Annie report, the smartphone user in this country today has crossed 4.8 hours. So that's the amount of time consumers are spending on the mobile device, which is probably just behind Indonesia, Mexico, and Brazil, which is, I think, closer to about 5 hours. So that's the kind of consumption that's happening. And obviously, there is a huge amount of diversity of consumption when you look at in terms of what consumers are doing with their devices, whether it is on social media, whether it is on entertainment, whether it is on commerce, and what we want to really talk about today, gaming. Gaming is absolutely exploding. In fact, mobile gaming is now, I think, the latest passion as far as Indians are concerned. It's catching up across consumer segments. So as we'll see, it's not necessarily restricted only to the youth in this country. It's cutting across demographics. And gaming today is now accounting for almost about 15% of the time that Indians are spending on their smartphones. So that's almost about 45 minutes that consumers spend on their smartphones as far as gaming is concerned. So gaming is really becoming very, very large. In fact, if I was to look at some of the reports that we're seeing, gaming today is now probably larger than a lot of the OTT services that have been around for a fairly long period of time. And I think this, from our perspective, is today what we want to talk you through, and therefore portends and creates a very, very large potential opportunity for entities like us. If I can have the next slide, please. So like I said, I mean, gaming is not only seeing depth of engagement, but it's also seeing widespread adoption. So when you talk about 435 million, I mean, the numbers vary between, depending on the report that you refer to, anywhere between 410 million consumers and 435 million consumers. I mean, that's huge by any stretch of imagination, which means that gaming is cutting across town classes. It's not an urban phenomenon anymore. It's both urban and rural. It's cutting across demographic segments. And almost 3/4 of Indians today are playing one game at least a day. That's the level of engagement that people are having as far as gaming is concerned, right? So, and gaming is expected to cross almost about 650 million users by 2025. I think while gaming has a lot of categories and it's still evolving, and there's a lot in terms of the runway, where you're hearing about casual gaming, you hear about esports, you hear about real money gaming. From our perspective, the way we see this, and I'm sure Nitish will bear us out, casual gaming alone is today close to about 400 million users, and is expected to grow the fastest among the next 3 to 5 years. So it's growing at a CAGR of almost about 40% in the last 2 years. And I think over the next 3 years, it's expected to grow at a CAGR of about 30%. So there's huge amount of explosion that's happening as far as casual gaming is concerned. And the good part, as far as gaming is concerned, from a pure economic stroke business point of view, is that not only is it offering a deep engagement opportunity, which obviously is something which is very, very core and critical for a telco like us, but it's also becoming a large monetization opportunity, as we're seeing. So when we look at the numbers, I mean, it's becoming a very, very large monetizable opportunity. And this is clearly evident from the fact that gaming has accounted for almost close to 70% of the total consumer spending on mobile apps globally in 2021. So gaming is starting to become a huge engine of growth as far as businesses are concerned. And gaming is seeing a huge amount of monetization, unlike a lot of the other OTT content that we see today. Can I have the next slide, please? So like I said, casual gaming today is already pegged at 6,000 crores in terms of total revenues, and I'm talking about India. It's a mix of both being ad funded as well as consumer subscription, while advertising makes about 60%, 40% is subscription based. So a very healthy mix of being ad funded as well as subscription, which consumers are paying for, unlike a lot of the other OTT categories that you see, where a large part of it continues to be ad funded. Like I said, it's grown at about 40% CAGR over the last 2 years, and is expected to grow at about 30% CAGR for the next 3 to 4 years, to touch almost close to about 17,000 crores. So that's the kind of estimates that the industry is holding out, which means that casual gaming will get close to the $2.5 billion mark, which is huge by any standard or by any stretch of imagination. So, I mean, that's really a huge opportunity from our standpoint, right? Our effort is going to be to participate in the space, given that 96% of the consumption that happens on gaming is on the mobile device. And therefore, considering that we have access to that consumer, whether it is in terms of knowing and understanding who these consumers are, having an omni-channel interface, whether it's the physical reach or the digital reach that we have as far as our consumers are concerned, whether it is the amount of understanding intelligence that we have around our consumers, we fundamentally believe that this is going to be potentially huge in our ability to be able to monetize this agenda. Yeah. And that's really where the excitement is stemming from. If I can have the next slide, please. Yeah, like I said, I think the other good thing about gaming is that it's becoming universal. So when you're talking about 450 million consumers, it's pretty much universal in its appeal. It's cutting across consumer demographics. So while all of us would like to believe that gaming is more of a Gen Z phenomena, it's mainly for the youngsters, it's quite a myth. So while Gen Z is definitely where the first wave of adoption happens, recent growth is becoming far more encompassing, with people from older demographics, from smaller geographies, showing a huge amount of traction and adoption, right? In fact, interestingly, for 43% of the Indian gamers today are women, yeah, which clearly shows that adoption amongst women is very, very huge, and it's getting a huge amount of penetration, even as far as the gender is concerned. And more interestingly is that almost half of the women gamers are above the age of 34. So it's not only, like I said, the young audiences. When I look at the women demographic or I look at the women gender, 34%, 50% of the women that are using or adopting gaming are above the age of 34. And that's really what excites us about this category, that you get to talk to a diverse mix of cohorts, right, irrespective of age, gender, geography, or income. So while the key motivation for gaming has always been relaxation, to de-stress, to kill boredom, that's really what our consumer work tells us. Most people use gaming as a stress buster. I'm fatigued, I come back from office, I sit and play games, I'm bored, I've just got off a call, I've got some free time, I just want to immerse myself into this whole gaming experience. And more people are turning to games that allow them to play in groups or teams. So social gaming is therefore another strong phenomena that we're seeing in this category, but I think more of that later. Can we have the next slide, please? So like I said, gaming in India is predominantly a mobile phenomena. It's very, very high on the engagement quotient, given the amount of time that people are spending with their devices on gaming. It has universal appeal. It's highly monetizable, like we've seen, and has significant growth potential, which therefore means that this together is making gaming a strong use case for a telco like us. So as we evolve in terms of creating this digital ecosystem by which we all want to offer an array of digital experiences, products, and services to our consumers, gaming is right up there at the top of the stack. Gaming is therefore perfectly aligned with our strategic focus of driving a higher engagement quotient with our consumers, transitioning consumers from the offline to the online world, driving differentiation, driving adoption, like I said, digitally. We want more and more consumers to move from the offline to the online world. And yes, for sure, in terms of being able to upgrade ARPUs and therefore monetization. And therefore, our intent today, as we announce the first phase of our leap into gaming with a progressive partner like Nazara, is to basically create an ecosystem which we believe is going to serve us well over the next couple of years. And as we walk through this roadmap, you will see how we will evolve this and unfold this over the next few months and quarters. So today here we are about talking in our first leap and foray into the world of gaming. Can I have the next slide? And I'm happy to really announce our partnership with Nazara. I mean, Nazara needs no introduction. It's really the gold standard when it comes to mobile gaming and what they're doing in the entire gaming ecosystem. We'll be rolling out a range of propositions that we are building in partnership with our friends and the gaming experts at Nazara. So we're extremely pleased and happy about this partnership. I think we've underlined this at various points of time, that strategically we would want to build this ecosystem through partnerships. And Nazara therefore fits in extremely well and ticks all the boxes. From our perspective, it's really about what the partner brings into this partnership, whether it is the experience, the competency, whether it is about the diversity of experience. As you're all probably aware, Nazara operates in more than 75 countries globally. They work with more than 50 telco operators globally. So huge amount of expertise and experience that Nazara has. And therefore, fundamentally, we believe that that's the kind of partnership that we would want to cement and engage with to be able to build, like I said, a gaming ecosystem that would be extremely progressive as we move forward into the future. Can I have the next slide, please? And therefore, today I'm extremely excited to present our first foray into gaming, WeGames. WeGames is a gaming destination for all gamers. WeGames over time will cater to all kinds of gamers, whether you call them the mid-core gamers, the hardcore gamers, and of course the beginners. We've curated a vast collection of games in conjunction with Nazara that should cater to all different segments of consumers, irrespective of their preferences. Consumers will find a set of titles that will be to their interest, their appeal, and will be excited to find the latest content coming their way all the time. So, ladies and gentlemen, get ready to play your favorite games on WeGames. Can I have the video, please? Thank you. We Games, as we speak, has more than 1,400 plus titles, right? So it's evolving, right? I mean, if you ask me this number, maybe a week later, it'll probably be close to 2,000. So we're continuously ingesting content as we speak. It's probably one of the largest catalogs that one can boast of, other than probably the Play Store as well. Our catalog features a host of branded games with exclusive titles from popular franchises. Almost 80% of the titles in this catalog that we put together are exclusive. We have 10 genres, from action to adventure to racing, fighting, shooting, sports, puzzle games, and strategy games as well, which means that there's diversity of content that we put together to appeal to, like I said, all kind of demographics and interest groups. There's something for everybody. It doesn't matter whether your preferred genre is racing, like I said, adventure, whatever is your genre. I think you will find something here in terms of fundamentally what you can engage with. I think the other core difference, unlike similar gaming portals, the V Games catalog is just not limited to HTML5 games. And I think that's extremely crucial and critical. And I think I just want to underline that, which means that it's not only games that you can play online, but we have a much richer portfolio in the set of Android games that are downloadable. So it has both the HTML5 games, which you can stream, like a lot of the other gaming portals. But what it has exclusively is the Android games, and almost about 80% of the content sitting in this portfolio is the downloadable games, which means you can download that game on your device and play it at your convenience, right? You paid for it once and it resides with you. So these are games, like I said, consumers can download for a far superior experience. I mean, the true experience that you get on Android games are unmatched, right? As a lot of the gaming enthusiasts who are probably on this call will bear me out. The V Games is going to be a part of the V app, like we've discussed in the past. The V app is really our gateway into the larger digital ecosystem that we're creating for our consumers. It's a native experience, which means users will when they come to the V app and will go to V Games from there. So it's pretty much a curated native experience. And these screens will give you a glimpse of what V Games look like. So just stay with me and I shall give you a brief tour of the V Games. Can we have that come up, please? Next slide, please. Yeah, so before I take you through the V Games demo, let me take a pause and show you how we've converted our V app into a new entertainment hub for our consumers. Sorry, can you go back, please? I think we've jumped a slide. Yeah, so I think before I take you through the V Games demo, let me take a pause to show you how we've converted our V app into a new entertainment hub for our consumers. You would recall back in December 2021, we launched our music service on the V app. We've also integrated our video content now into the V app. So V app now boasts of a full OTT experience with access to over 400 live TV channels, movies and shows from the likes of Woot Select, Lionsgate, Discovery, Hungama, Sun Next, and Z5. We have a full-blown music service in conjunction with Hungama, and now we've added gaming. So whatever the form of entertainment you're looking for, V app has it for you and therefore becomes your destination. Can I have the next slide, please? So back to V Games. Here's a sneak peek into the kind of titles you will find on V Games. Yeah, these are titles that will work for you. You have a lot of content that's absolutely kid-friendly and a lot that can help you keep your parents and the elders in your house engaged. So a very, very large, diverse portfolio of content that we have curated in conjunction with Nazara. I mean, Nazara has really guided us through this entire experience of curating this entire portfolio. And we're extremely thankful to Nazara for that. Can I have the next slide, please? So full of action, adventure, fun, and this is just a small glimpse. I mean, you obviously need to experience this yourself. Thank you. Can we go to the next slide, please? So while we've talked about the catalog, we've talked about fundamentally the reason why we're looking at gaming. We've spoken a bit about what makes this offering unique. Let me now talk to you about the core proposition, what fundamentally is in it for consumers. So the catalog is divided into three parts. We obviously have free games, which are ad supported, which means consumers have the opportunity to come into the app and experience and sample free games. So almost about 20% of the portfolio has free games. We then have what's called the premium games category, and then the super premium games. All our prepaid and postpaid consumers can access, like I said, the free games at no extra cost. The premium games are available through what we call a gold pass. Our postpaid consumers can buy the gold pass for rupees 50, and our prepaid consumers can recharge this with rupees 56. So 50 rupees for the postpaid consumers and 56 rupees for the prepaid consumers. What does the gold pass entitle you to? The gold pass user gets a 30 gold game credit that allows users to get 30 gold games, right? So you get a pass, you have the ability to therefore experience 30 games for a period of 28 days in terms of your validity, right? So fundamentally, that's how it works in terms of the gold pass. And then you have what's called the super premium category. These games are available on the pay-per-download basis, through which we call a platinum pass. The platinum pass is for rupees 25 as far as postpaid consumers are concerned, and 26 as far as prepaid consumers are concerned, and allows one platinum game to be downloaded against that. And users can obviously buy multiple passes if they need more games. So I mean, if you're a postpaid consumer, you can basically download the super premium game that we talk about, which is the Android game. You download that for 25 rupees, and it resides on your device and is yours to play for whatever period of time that you would like to do so. Okay, can I have the next slide, please? Can we have the video, please? So I hope you liked what we put together for you. As I said, it's a start. We've got a long way on not just Wii games, but the entire gaming category. We will continuously evolve games to position it as a destination of choice for all kinds of gamers. We have a strong roadmap ahead of us as far as gaming is concerned. We will obviously be coming very soon on social gaming, which essentially is about fundamentally how we create the social connect through multiplayer games. Esports is something we are actively and aggressively evaluating, and we should be announcing something very soon as far as esports is concerned. So there's a lot of action lined up over the next couple of weeks, months, and quarters as we build this entire portfolio and create the whole Wii Games agenda as a fairly exciting and engaging destination for our consumers. With that, thank you so much for your time. I'm now going to hand this over to my partner in crime, Nitish. Welcome, Nitish, and thank you so much for your guidance, your counsel. And Nitish will give you a perspective of fundamentally what this partnership is all about, and also help us understand what the future of gaming looks like as far as India is concerned. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Avnish, for the opportunity to partner with V and with you and your team. And it's been, last few months have been very exciting to work together and bring this to fruition. So let me take a step back and just talk about how gaming in India has evolved in the last 2 decades, right? Nazara was started, nearly 22 years back with a dream that gaming one day will be very large in our nation. It's a young nation, and when I started the company, I really believed that it's not possible that a country like India cannot be large in gaming. It wasn't then because of multiple reasons, such as lack of devices, lack of data, etc. But over the last 2 decades, we've seen a dramatic change in these macro factors, some of which data you just shared, whether it's the penetration of devices with hundreds of millions of mobile phone users today having a device that's a fantastic gaming device in their hand, whether the great job done by telcos such as we in terms of bringing fast data to consumers among the lowest cost in the world, which has been fantastic, the evolution of digital payments ecosystem in our country, all of this is bringing together the perfect storm that is required to make India a global giant in gaming. And that's something we're extremely excited about as Nazara, and also extremely excited about as our partnership with we, because I believe that as a dominant or as a very large telco in the country, we has a vital role to play when it comes to increasing the penetration of gaming in our country. Today, gaming is reaching across demographics, right? In my own personal experience, I can share whether it's my 5-year-old daughter or my 87-year-old grandmother. They're all playing games, all different types of games, and it's bringing entertainment, it's bringing learning, it's helping in many very different ways. And I believe that this partnership will further take this forward. In terms of what we're offering in the V Games partnership, while what you see is we've started with casual gaming, I believe today Nazara already has a portfolio across the board, right? We are the number one esports company in the country. And whether you talk about gamified learning, whether you talk about casual games, multiplayer games, esports, I believe there will be a lot of opportunity for us to collaborate and work together. I'd like to sign off by saying, as an entrepreneur, having spent over 2 decades in the gaming space in India, I truly believe that this is the decade of gaming for our nation, and we are going to be the gaming giant of the world. And I believe this partnership will take us one step forward. Thank you very much, Avnish, again.
Thank you, Nitish.
Thanks, Nitish and Avnish, for that. Nitish, anything you'd like to hear from Avnish, considering that the two of you have, are together at this platform? It'll be nice to hear from you and from Avnish.
Yeah, of course, sure. Avnish, congratulations again for the launch, and would love to hear how you are feeling and how excited are you about V Games.
So, yeah, Nitish, I'm super excited. Clearly, in terms of the potential, the opportunity that this holds forth. I think some of the early consumer work that we have done is giving us the confidence that we are on the right track. In fact, as you're aware, we opened up the POC in a couple of markets a couple of days back, and the response has been overwhelming. So we have not gone and communicated, we have not launched the service, we have not gone and advertised, but the kind of numbers that we're seeing, the kind of engagement time that we're seeing on the portal, I think just truly excites me that we're on to something which is going to be truly transformational as far as this partnership is concerned. So fingers crossed. I think this is just the first step. But I think as we build the larger gaming ecosystem together in the country, I'm super excited about the opportunity and what this will do for us collectively.
Fantastic, Avnish. And what games are you giving a shot today?
Okay, Nitish, you're putting me on the spot, right? So I'm a, how do I put it? I'm a car racing freak. I'm a sports enthusiast. So obviously I have sampled some of the games in the portfolio. If you would ask me my three favorites, it'll be the 3-in-1 car racing, the monster truck, and probably the Star Warrior Run. Yeah, I think those three would be my choices. But I'm obviously sampling a lot more as we go along, and probably this is going to change. But at this point of time, this is really what's holding my attention. I'm spending a fair amount of time doing this.
Fantastic, Avnish.
Okay, Nitish, so I mean, you'd asked me about my favorites. For somebody who obviously does this for a living, yeah, I'm curious to know about your choices. So if you were to pick up your three favorite games on the V portfolio, what would that look like?
Well, I'm a big sports enthusiast. So I'm going to play the football game. I'm going to play the mini golf game, and maybe some casual runner games. So yeah, there are lots of games to choose from, and I'm going to try them all out.
Okay,
So,
good. Sounds
Avnish,
exciting.
I spoke about some of the, new opportunities that we can bring to the table beyond what we have already launched today in the phase one. Is there anything specific you have in mind that you'd like to see first?
Yeah, Nitish, as you're aware, I think our immediate next offering will be on the esports front. That's something that we've obviously been working on. So I think over the next couple of weeks is when we will unveil the esports offering. We will start with more like the grassroots esports. The idea is obviously to create engagement at scale, democratize esports, learn and evolve. But that's really going to be the next big opportunity that we will announce as we move forward. I also spoke about social gaming. So I think a lot of action lined up, but esports essentially is going to be the next offering as we work towards this entire partnership.
Fantastic.
And not to forget that we are obviously continuing to ingest a lot more content in the whole casual gaming portfolio that we put together. And obviously, depending on consumer response, is something that we will keep tweaking and evolving and learning as we move forward. Research can only give you that much, but I think the real life experience in terms of how consumers engage with the casual gaming portfolio, about the kind of choices they make, the kind of feedback that we get, I think we will keep tweaking and fine tuning the experience as we move forward collectively. So yeah, I think casual gaming, as we evolve, as consumers engage with this entire portfolio, esports in the next couple of weeks, followed by social gaming. I think that's what the roadmap looks like as far as the next 3 to 4 months are concerned.
Super, Avnish. It
Okay,
seems
let me, yeah, Nitish. Thanks. Sorry. Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, I was just saying sounds like my team has their work cut out for the
Yeah, I
next.
think they have. I think both the teams have their hands full, right? So we've made sure that they're like kept busy. So it's not that they do this launch and forget about it. I mean, there's a very, very aggressive roadmap, and I think the teams have been working together and burning the midnight oil for the last couple of months, not weeks. I think it's been months, and I think going forward, it's not going to cease. So a lot of action lined up as far as the teams are concerned. So Nitish, let me ask you, considering that you work with many telcos across the globe, right? I mean, in a lot of developed markets as well as developing markets, how do you think We Games is unique, particularly in the Indian context, compared to what you've done with other telcos and other markets?
Yeah, I think one, of course, is if you look at the We Games product itself, we've got a pretty deep catalog of premium games that we're bringing to the table. I think the integration with We app has been pretty unique, and I think generally the approach and mindset to make these games accessible to the maximum number of players, a lot has gone into it. But I think I'd also say that the kind of speed I've seen the teams move together, telcos at your end also shows the kind of excitement that there is there for this, bringing gaming to consumers. And I think that's going to be very interesting because if you're really able to push it, there's a lot of demand, and I think that will really make this very successful.
Okay, that's really encouraging to hear, Nitish. My last question to you, which I'm sure a lot of people would have the same question to us, is how do you think We Games can evolve to be a destination of choice for every game in the country? What do you think is going to make that crucial difference?
I think our understanding of where each consumer is, not to treat all of them in one bucket, but to segment them, because India is an evolving nation. We started as a mobile first casual gaming nation. A lot of the consumers are still playing casual games, but now many of them have started moving into mid-core games as well. So understanding each consumer, their needs, their requirements, and how we can engage with them is actually going to be a big differentiator. And I think if we can focus on doing that and meeting their needs, we will achieve the success that this platform ideally should.
Okay, thank you, Nitish. Thank you so much for your partnership. Shivanjali, back to you.
Thank you, Avnish.
Thanks, Nitish. Thanks, Avnish. I'm sure the audience also got a lot more insights from this discussion the two of you had. Thank you so much for that. We'll now open the house for question and answers. We have friends from the media from different locations. I'm sure there are a lot of questions that we've got, as I can see on my screen. We will try and take up as many as possible. And let me pick the first question, which is about V Games, Avnish, and if you can, share a little on this. You've already talked about it, but somebody wants to know, how does V Games differentiate itself from other gaming portals that are available? And will this be available only to V users or mobile users of other operators as well?
Okay, so let me take the second question first. To start with, this will only be available to V consumers, but that does not mean in the future this could not be accessed or be made available to consumers of other networks, right? So at this point of time, the interface is through the V app and is restricted only to V consumers, but that does not mean that in the future that may not necessarily be possible. That could be a likely possibility, but that's not something that we are committing at this point of time. We will see how this evolves and grows. I think to the other question, I thought I addressed it as part of my conversation with Nitish as well as my presentation. I think there are 3 or 4 things that sets this apart. One is in terms of, we spoke about the fact, it's about the quality of experience that we bring to the table. I think it's the kind of expertise that we bring together to the table in terms of the portfolio that we put together in conjunction with Nazara, who understands this space. The fact that we offer Android downloadable games is a huge plus as far as this platform is concerned. Unlike a lot of other platforms, which essentially are HTML5, I think you'll find that the pricing is very, very aggressive. That's not something that I necessarily want to talk about, but I mean, I think you will also realize that the pricing is extremely aggressive. The second, like Nitish mentioned, we're looking at different kind of consumer segments in terms of genres, in terms of interests, as well as we're not restricting this to casual gaming. Like I said, we want to be all things gaming as far as this country is concerned. And we have a fairly aggressive roadmap and lineup in terms of what we intend to offer, whether it is social gaming, whether it is cloud gaming, whether it is the whole immersive gaming experience that will become a reality tomorrow with 5G. And I'm sure that's a question around the table somewhere lurking, saying what happens when 5G comes in. So I might as well address that at this point of time to say that, I mean, 5G will open up a plethora of opportunities because of the fact that 5G has lower latency. The whole immersive gaming experience, or what they call the whole metaverse, and how fundamentally gaming evolves to a very different kind of level, I think are real possibilities. So I would like to fundamentally believe that we have a proposition that is unique, it's differentiated, and caters to different kind of consumer segments and interests with the counsel and expertise that we have from one of the leading lights in the country and probably globally, Nazara. I think this makes for a winning combination.
Thanks, Avnish. There's another question for both of you. Avnish, maybe you can respond to this, and if there's anything that Nitish wants to add, which is, how are you planning on promoting V Games? What kind of ad campaigns are planned?
Yeah, I mean, we will talk about that at a particular point of time when we go ATL. I mean, at this point in time, we have a fairly aggressive go-to-market lineup post this launch, where we're looking at obviously specific audience cohorts in terms of our whole digital marketing and digital performance agenda. But at some point of time, this could go ATL. At this point of time, we're running our music campaign, so difficult to have another campaign running in parallel. But we will, like I said, support Wii Games fairly aggressively because we believe fundamentally it's a mass market agenda. It touches different cross sections of consumers. So there is a fairly large aggressive lineup that we have in store in terms of promoting Wii Games. I don't think I'm going to be able to answer saying what's the kind of budgets that we're going to allocate, when are we going to launch the ad campaign, etc. But needless to say, it's an important peg for us in terms of building a brand for the future, and therefore this will get its due share in terms of communication effort.
Thank you, Avnish. Well, there are 2 related questions, and I'll ask both of them together, and maybe Avnish, you can answer the second one first. The first question is, how can marketers utilize V Games to reach out to consumers? And the second question is, are the games ad-free on V Games?
No, so we spoke about the fact that there is a certain portfolio of games that are free. Those are ad supported, right? So the free catalog is ad supported, and then there is a catalog where you pay subscription money, or you pay to download. Those are obviously ad free. So two kinds of games, right? You want to play the free games by all means, but those are ad supported. And the second one is where you pay a subscription charge or you pay per download, and those are obviously ad free.
Thanks, Avnish. Um, as we are on the cusp of 5G, you can expect a lot of questions coming around. What are VIL's plans around gaming as we come to 5G?
Yeah, I think gaming is, like I said, it's an interesting use case as far as 5G is concerned. I think 5G technology cuts down latency, which is a pet peeve as far as gamers are concerned. And I think, therefore, like we showcased during the 5G trials that we held in Gandhidham, gaming will become a strong experience interface and open up a width of opportunities. I think immersive gaming for sure will evolve. Multiplayer gaming will evolve. I think those are some very, very promising opportunities that 5G as a technology will facilitate. So we'll definitely see we'll see, like I said, multiplayer gaming boom with the advent of 5G, and the whole immersive gaming experience starting to come alive. But maybe Nitish may have a lot more dope on this, considering they work with a couple of operators in 5G markets. Maybe he could add to this entire piece.
Yeah. No, I think there are a host of interesting technologies that are converging, which are really going to be able to leverage 5G in a fantastic manner, especially as technologies as virtual reality come up. The kind of online gaming and social experiences that will take place and will be enabled by 5G will be unparalleled to anything we've seen today. So yeah, the future is exciting.
Thanks, both of you. Nitish, one question which I think it would be good if you can respond, which is on how has the online gaming changed in the last 2 years, particularly during the lockdown and the COVID pandemic, and where do you see the demand coming from, both in terms of genre and demographics? Something which Avni did touch upon in his presentation, but anything else that you'd like to add?
Sure. So I think the pandemic, when it started in a couple of years back, obviously had a big boost to having a lot more people who are not yet gaming start trying out games to as a mode of entertainment, right? And a lot of them experienced the value that it provides and started using it more regularly. So I think in our country, gaming in general is on a secular trend of growth. There's long way for us to go, and the pandemic, the last 2 years, what kind of accelerated that trend. But the trend remains secular, irrespective of now the pandemic is over, but that doesn't mean that people are going to stop gaming. I think the engagement levels continue to be very high and will continue to grow. In terms of who is gaming, I think, as Avnish said, and I also spoke, what we find is still there is a popular perception that games are for youngsters, but it actually cuts across demographics, right? You have people in tier one, tier two, tier three cities playing games. You have, diverse age groups playing games. So I think it's bringing some level of value for all types of consumers, irrespective of their demographics.
Sure. Thank you, Nitish, for that. There are a lot of questions around the revenue model and the monetary aspect in this partnership. I'm afraid we will not be able to respond to that. But another related question around this is if there are any plans of developing made in India games for the world. Nitish, of course, you talked about you of course are the biggest in India. Anything else that you'd like to add to this?
I think the talent in India is developing to a level where now it can develop games for the world. We have seen multiple successes in recent years, including our own. We have popular titles that have gone global, have achieved, uh, significant response even in advanced markets like the US. And there are also many other examples now of Indian gaming startups who have been able to make an impact at the global stage. So I think, yeah, you will see this trend increasing very rapidly over the next 2, 3, 4 years. And I think you will start seeing global titles emerge out of India for sure.
Thanks, Nitish. Avnish, a question for you. Will we be exploring partnerships with other online gaming companies in the future?
Yeah, for sure. This does not necessarily restrict us to only work with Nazara, but fundamentally, if Nazara ticks all the boxes, why not? We'll continue to work with Nazara, but it is not necessarily that we can't work with other partners.
Thank you, Avnish. A lot of questions on what kind of revenue growth or ARPU growth can we expect from music and V games. I don't think so we can talk about that. But any closing comments from you, Avnish, because we've covered most of the questions that we had, which were relevant to today's announcement. Anything else that you'd like to put out as your closing comments?
No, Shivanjali, thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Nitin and Nitish and Avnish for sharing your views on the questions that we got from the media. Thank you, friends from the media fraternity, for being a part of this press meet today. Before you log off, please download the press release from this microsite. It is available under the resource tab button, which has now been enabled. So you can download the PDF of the press release from there. If you have any more questions, you can send it to us on email. You'll see an email ID flash on your screens. Once again, thank you everybody for a great day ahead and happy gaming.
Thank you. Thank you so much.